guys! So today we are going to be moving on to level 3 of the Heaven and Hades event because, you know, our luck hasn't been as good as it could possibly be, but our luck hasn't been all that bad so far. So, you know, the event has been going quite swimmingly so far. And, you know, the sooner we get the keys, the better off we're going to be. So the goal is to try and pray that we get these keys as soon as possible. And people have asked again, because apparently whenever I don't address it in the first video, people never remember, the keys are random in every chest. So we're lucky that we managed to find this key in this chest here. So found another key, trainer, thanks. Let's go to the next arena then. So there's 15 extra divine tickets, and here is level 3. So wow, this place is beautiful. Watch your step, the floor tiles are coming apart. Jeez, it's like a full-time job watching over here, huh? You think I should worry less? Probably a bit, Ned. It'd probably save you a little bit of your mental capacity. But, oh, I love these dragon statues that are just littered around the map. I see a runic dragon there. What is that? Is that a Yeti dragon? I don't know, but some of these dragon statues in particular are just cool. Now you're gonna get it, you simpletons! This dragon looks super cool and it's gonna crush you! Ah! Stop licking me, vivid dragon! Wait, what? But that's a Hellion dragon. Maybe you're talking about a different dragon? That vivid dragon is from another dimension, Bran. Are you sure you know what you're doing? How about a nice how do you do first? I don't see a vivid dragon anywhere. Again, maybe I'm going insane. Ah! Can't you guys just let me take one cool dragon back to the Vikings? Not if you're gonna force them to battle. They're visitors here, you know. Bad guys aren't nice to visitors, doofus. Whatever, I'll be back with even cooler dragons. Well, maybe next time actually bring the dragon that you promised that you're bringing. That would be splendid. That would be absolutely splendid. But I have to say, this map is really pretty. I know it's just a rehash of the old event map, but in general, I like the design. There's so many different colours and everything on it, so I appreciate it. So, obviously on this reset, we're not going to be able to go too much further, but I will be teleporting into the future, and we will be doing some more progress on the event, so don't you worry, this is not as far as we can go. But while we're here, I just want to point out that the Pitaya is such a cute dragon. Like, just in general. Just saying it is. Every time I see it, I'm just like, oh, you're such a cutie. So there we go. And just so that you know, the costs of chests on these levels are actually different per chest. I'm not sure if that's intended or not, but this chest right here is 75, whereas the other chests are, like, what, 400 or something each? So, you know, it is what it is. So I have now teleported into the future. You can see that this chest here is opened, this chest over here is also opened, and the next chest that we're heading to is this chest right in the far off corner. So we need to go ahead and collect some more event currency. And you know, so far, collecting event currency has been pretty easy overall. You know, it hasn't been too difficult or anything. I'm going to have to use Chronos for this because I do have food that we can collect. And, you know, I could have put all of my exploration stuff in, but I don't care enough. So, you know, suboptimal use of Chronos, but I'm lazy, what can I say? If it's gonna save me, like, a minute's worth of my time, I'm gonna do it anyway. Just throwing it out there. And the servers at the moment seem to be really, really slow. Like, I'm not sure what it is, but there we go. We're getting the event currency now. So, you know, we're just waiting on the servers to not explode and hopefully actually work for us. And, you know, one thing about the flying creatures, like what just happened there, a lot of the time is my clicks just phase through them. And, like, I'm trying to click the creatures, it's like, oh, you wanted to take the stuff out of your ruin exploration, I see. No, game, that's not what I wanted at all. Why'd you have to do this to me? So, I will say, though, that these flying creatures are slightly more difficult to see than, you know, the bright blue presents that I'm used to seeing everywhere. Like, they blend in quite well with the actual map. Is this an unintentional buff to the power of... or to the difficulty of collecting creatures? I don't know. I'm just saying that I prefer the presents just because of how you know, in your face, ridiculously easy to spot they are. But, you know, catching creatures in general is just as boring as it's always been, so there's nothing new, nothing spectacular or unheard of. And do we have any more heroic mode fights? Nah, it doesn't look like it. It's a shame, whenever I run out of heroic mode fights, it feels like my auto win tickets are just wasted. They just don't feel as good as they could have been. Sad days. Now, they're still pretty good, because, you know, what's quicker, doing an entire fight or just skipping the fight in itself? I would say skipping is probably a lot faster than that, amazingly enough. But I'm not sure how far we're going to get in the event with this next set of event currency. Probably not very far. But, you know, the fact that we have chests that have uneven costs, and just in general the way that the maps are put together, I would say that this event is slightly different to what we've had before. Again, the chest costs being different is something that I don't think we've ever seen, unless it was like an unintended bug. So it's really weird that they've decided to do it this time. And our breed will be done in 5 minutes time, so by the time that we are about to leave, basically. So we'll sell that demonic, we don't need him, and we will head in. So that one is 200. We have another fight here. We only have 4 different elements that we can use against these 3 earths. Not sure why there's 3 Go Green dragons here. But they're gonna get demolished. Sorry! They're getting destroyed by plant. How sad is that? So this one is 300. That chest down there was 75 or whatever it was. I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's just really, really weird. It has thrown me off a little bit. So then we get to this point here, and then the cost between the tiles are 200 per tile going up this way, and then it's 150 going to the left, which does mean that overall it will be cheaper to go to the left and then use the fights on this side. So that means the final chest we're going to open on level 3 is going to be the chest essentially right in the middle. So, you know, I guess we'll just go and faff about a bit until we get a tiny bit more event currency. And then I guess we'll do like 2 more tiles, if we can even do 2 more tiles. But, you know, so far the event could be going even faster, but like I said, it doesn't really make too much difference at the end of the day, because, you know, if we don't manage to find the key early, we're going to be slow to progress anyway. The idea is just to try your best to pray to the gods that they give you the key as fast as possible. Well, not to the gods. Let's say we pray to Chrono Aphrodite, because in DML terms, those are their gods. Like, think, every time you use a divine dragon, you are using a literal god. That's how much power they have. And yet, because of the way that the game works, it makes it seem like if you have epics and commons and you use Dragon Fury Essence, you can beat up the gods with like a ceremony dragon. How ridiculous is that? Maybe we could argue that all of their powers are suppressed for the sake of, I don't know, them being able to interact with humans without killing them all by accident. All I know is that doesn't make sense in my head. Why are these gods getting demolished by ceremony dragons? It's baffling. Like, if I was one of the divine dragons, I'd feel pretty self-conscious knowing that. Like, here we go. Here's a level 94 fully enchanted ceremony dragon. He still does a decent amount of damage to our Hermes dragon, even though he's quite a few levels below. Like, what is that about? I'm calling heresy. Something I've never really thought about before. And the fact that legendary dragons, I guess you could say that legendary dragons are like legendary warriors in real life. So the kind of warriors that are renowned for their, you know, power and prowess in general. So rather than them being some demigod or something, they're just, you know, known to be super powerful. Better than epics. Because we could assume that epics are like trained knights. And maybe commons are just like the everyday dragon folk, right? Again, this is if we're comparing it to human terms. So, Legendaries are just these super renowned dragons. And then apparently they beat up literal gods for a living every day in the arena. It's like the same thing with Pokemon, where it's just like, you know that world would never actually exist because so many things are just so blatantly overpowered, and if we go by their actual lore, like, everything would just be destruction and chaos and death. I was one of those kids where I used to say, wouldn't it be cool to have a Pokemon? Like, when I was like, what, 5 or 10? But then the more I thought about it, I was like, no. Because imagine if I had a Charizard, it'd burn everything down by accident. It has an open flame on its tail. You're telling me that it wouldn't accidentally turn around and, like, burn your cupboards down? Nah, I don't believe it for a damn second. I'm not saying you'd do it on purpose, I'm saying it would happen. You know, if you put, like, energy dragons near, I don't know, electricity stations, they're gonna cause a power cut or something. Something's gonna end up exploding because there's just gonna be too much energy loitering around. I guess you could say that technology would obviously, you know, change to compensate for that so that everyone didn't just instantly die. But those sorts of things take years to make. So if you were just like, oh yeah, let's suddenly add Pokemon into the realm or add dragons into the realm, you know, I just think humanity would cease to exist. It would try its best to, you know, harbor certain things because they're super overpowered, but it would never actually work out. Sad days. Sad things to think about, really. So, there we go. There is one tile extra. I literally spent that whole time waiting just for an extra tile's worth of progress. But we will head on over to this chest next. Hopefully this does have the key. I don't want to have to open every single chest just to progress through level 3. That would suck. But I'm hoping for some good luck, as in early chest luck on level 4, 5, and 6 to compensate for this taking a little bit longer than I would like. Game, I'm looking at you. You don't do as I ask, we're gonna have a bone to pick. Oh yeah, and there's also currently a bundle out for the Ice Cream Dragon as well, for anyone that is curious. So this is just like the Medusa bundle that was out recently, except the Ice Cream Dragon is a much worse dragon overall. So if you were gonna buy this deal, you would have been better off buying the Medusa bundle when it was out a couple of weeks ago. But, you know, 100 tickets ain't too shabby at the end of the day. But to be fair, we are also getting 150 tickets for free out of the Heaven and Hades event. So do keep that in mind. Unless you are super desperate for 100 extra tickets for some reason, there's not really a lot of point to buying it at this point. So, you know, it is what it is for now. Also, I do want to mention that in this event, we do know what the required elements are for the levels. I am going to go through that, I think, next time. And surprisingly, Divine is not really found anywhere. Which is strange for a Divine event not requiring the Divine element on the final levels. But regardless, thank you for joining me today. Good luck, and until next time, I will see you then.